whoa, I don't know what it is. It's just in the blood, I guess.
I mean, I do a beeline. If I see a clown, I just like kind of shy away and go somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm afraid of certain clowns. The certain painting they have. I don't know what it is. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I had a bad experience. I don't know. Maybe it's some of the movies we watched when we were younger. I don't know.
Okay, do a little test with me, then we'll open up the phone lines.
Okay.
Teach me something.
Well, you could teach you a hustle. I could teach you a trick.
By the way, we got to talk about poker sometime tonight.
Poker.
Because people are sending me messages saying, please give us some tips. So we'll get into that.
That is the coolest game in the world. It's hot right now, too.
Yeah.
Well, here's an example of a trick that you can do over a telephone to one of your guests or something like that. Like, for example, being a magician, a lot of magicians love cards. But we don't have a deck of cards on me, and you don't have one.
Right.
So just think of a card.
All right, think of a card.
Any card.
I am thinking of a card. Okay, got it.
Now, just add the next highest number to that card. For example, if you're thinking of a 2, you would add 2 and 3. If you think an ace is equivalent to 1. So add the next highest number.
Okay.
You have a total there, George?
Yes, sir.
Now, just multiply it in your head by 5.
That number added together, multiplied by 5. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Now, if your card was a club, just add 6 more. This is the last thing you have to do. If it was a heart, add 7. If it was a diamond, add 8. And if it was a spade, add 9 to the total.
All right.
Now, for the first time, tell the audience what was the total you came up with.
You want me to tell the audience now?
Yeah, tell everybody, yeah.
That includes you.
Yeah.
All right, 23.
Yeah, and there's no way I would know you had an ace of diamonds ahead of time, right? Yeah.
That was my card. You
cool?
peaked.
This is cool. And this is what you could do. That's one of my hustles in my book, 50 Ways to Hustle Your Friends. And like even on my website, I have Hustle of the Month. I put a different hustle up every month. I call them hustles. I hope it's not a negative term to use because it's really for fun.
Yeah, no, I understand. Fun, yeah. Now, how important is memory in what you just did?
Well, there's no memory needed for that one. Trust me.
Really?
No. No memory.
There's a trick behind it.
No, I'm going to tell you something. I show that to like 9 and 10-year-old elementary school kids, and it's an easy trick to learn. It's so cool. It's so cool.
Let's do this. Do it one more time with me.
Okay.
Ready? Let me get
think of a different card.
Hold on. Okay, got it.
Now add the next highest number.
Okay.
And multiply it by 5.
Okay.
Now, once again, if it's a club, add 6. If it's a heart, add 7. If it's a diamond, add 8. If it's a spade, add 9.
Okay, got it.
Tell everybody the total.
41.
And there's no way this time that I would know you had a 3 of clubs.
Yeah, that's it. I got it.
Isn't that cool?
Yep.
That is the coolest
I love
thing in the world.
that trick.
Easy to do, and it's easy. It's very simple.
Now, if you are doing it in person with someone, is it more effective, at least visually, to have a deck of cards?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of math tricks, and like I have a chapter in the book called "Finally a Use for Math." I don't know. That's me. That's my humor, because like I said, I wasn't a great student when I went to high school, and I still sound like Rocky Balboa. When I start doing this memory stuff, people are like, "Is this guy for real?"
All right, say "Yo, Adrian."
Yo, Adrian. No, I'm not that bad. Wait, do I have like a Pennsylvania accent yet?
A little one, I guess, if that's what that is.
But there are so many cool things that people could learn how to do to have fun and get that little smile from everybody and have fun. Create a little smile throughout the day, and that's what it's all about. That's what I'm all about. Well, the one thing I'll teach you one here. Here's a good one. Say you want to impress your audience. I'll tell everybody how to do this. They want to impress upon their friends. Like say you're a trucker and you're going into a truck stop and you want to pull a trick on somebody, or you're a college student listening in right now, or just anybody listening at home. You tell somebody you could take a piece of foil.
Piece of foil, all right, okay. Aluminum foil.
Yeah, and wet it with water or your tongue or whatever, and slap it on their head, their forehead, and you look in their eyes and you say, "I'm going to concentrate right now. I'm going to concentrate on intense heat. That foil on your head's going to get so hot. It's going to get so hot you're going to have to rip it right off or it'll burn you." And all of a sudden, bam, they take it off their head. It's really fast because that's how hot it gets.
Why?
And people think you have this ability to control this, And here's how simple it is. You go to the store. You buy a pack of cinnamon gum, the big red kind, without saying the name of it. All right? take the tin foil from the gum.
All right.
And when you lick that and put it on your head, the spit or the moisture of the water reacts with the cinnamon, and it gets hot in about maybe 7 or 8 seconds. The rest is presentation. Awesome thing.
I did not know that.
Yeah, incredible stuff.
Okay, so it's the foil from the cinnamon gum that
it
you
reacts
use.
with the water, and it gets warm.
All right.
And you tell them it's getting hot. It's getting hot. And it will never get hot enough to hurt them, but it gets warm, and they get scared, and they rip it off. But that's what I'm about, having fun with people.
What do you think of Uri Geller?
Uri Geller's a unique individual. He's a God.
Do you think he's a magician, or do you think he really has these very unusual powers?
Well, he's a couple people have
tried to debunk him.
Tried to debunk him and came up with a lot of stuff he does. There are tricks to it, and I won't divulge them. I'm not the masked magician or the masked mentalist. I'm not going to tell people how it's done. But in my opinion, most of the stuff he does, they're scientifically based and kind of what I'm doing.
But a magician can do some of the things he does.
Magicians are sharp. Let me tell you, the magician. I encourage everybody to get it into some type of magic, because you learn so much. I'm telling you, it's you learn these basic things. You learn. You could go out and fool the most intelligent people with them, and you have like the edge. It gives you an edge on life when you have a little magic. You pull a trick or two on somebody, it gives you that slight edge. None of that it's used as an icebreaker. I mean, I walk into a place of people I don't even know, and I pull out a deck of cards and pull a trick. Before you know it, I'm like the Pied Piper. You know what I mean? It's the coolest way to break the ice with people. It's the coolest way to get to know people, and at the same time, and to make friends, and especially if you're in a strange place. And I think it's the coolest thing in the world to learn a couple tricks like that. Everybody should learn a couple things. Dentists, doctors, I don't care what you do for a living. It helps your life. It puts a smile on people's faces. And,
I've got a friend in St. Louis, Jim, who's a magician, and every once in a while he'll go to a nightclub or a restaurant. And they pay him. They pay him a little bit just to walk around. And I met him in one, and his trick was that he would put a bolt under a hat, and then each time, I guess he'd put the hat back on it, and then lift it up. The bolt would get bigger. And he would stop at a point where the bolt was about 4 times larger than how he started. And, you'd say, that's a pretty good trick. But then as you thought he was done, he would do one more bolt trick. And this time the bolt must weigh 25 pounds.
Unbelievable.
It's huge. And I guess my question is everybody's watching the guy. There's no way this thing could be stuck in the hat. How in the heck does he do the sleight of hand and put a 20-pound bolt? I'm telling you, you could barely lift it with one arm.
That's incredible.
How does he do something like that?
I have no idea. That's incredible. It's a secret. It's a trade secret. Could you keep the secret?
He won't tell me.
So could I.
All right, let's take some calls. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Jim Carroll on Coast to Coast. Hi there.
How you doing, guys?
We are well, thanks.
Awesome. I'm calling from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I thought I should.
Oh, my gosh, Bethlehem, my old stomping ground.
Yeah, do you know the Gold Dust twins over at Bethlehem Steel?
Yeah, I heard of them, yeah.
Get the heck out. That's my grandfather and great-uncle.
Get out of town.
You don't believe in coincidences, George. So,
No.
right here on Hayes Street, if I go out my front door, I can see the now quiet blast furnaces.
Oh,
unbelievable.
How many jobs at one point out there?
Sorry, what?
How many jobs at one point were out there?
Oh, my goodness, thousands. I don't even know. Jim would be more...
Everybody worked there. My father worked there. Everybody. That Billy Joel song hit it on the head. That's a real song.
Sure.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that song, I think it's about me.
Why do they call these guys the Gold Dust twins, by the way?
You know what? Does he know? Because I don't know either. That's my family, and I don't even know.
Well, probably because that's what it's like working down at a steel mill. God, if you work in some of the
you
places,
get that kind of gold dusty look, I guess.
Believe me, I worked in a place called the Combination Mill, the Combo Mill. And it was like, oh my gosh, they got these. They take a big giant. They used to take this big giant ingot, or they call them ingots, a big piece of steel, red, orange, hot, just come out of a furnace, and it would go through these big giant this mill, and it would smash it and crush it. It's so loud, and it would come out a 260-foot long beam. Unbelievable. And they would curl up like the McDonald arches, and you'd have to go there. And, oh, what a job that was. Unbelievable.
Anyway. Hey, you were talking about memory tricks and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to hear some. One of my superpowers, I'm into language. Are you into language at all?
No, that's what everybody's telling me to do now is to learn several different languages.
Oh, seriously? No, because it freaks people out.
Yeah.
When you just bust out like 4 different languages and stuff like that. And
wow.
I was wondering, if you either had any tips for that or would like to hear some.
Yeah, definitely, because that's what I'm in the process of doing now. Everybody said, yeah, you should learn Spanish and German and Russian and Japanese, and
yeah.
I'm going to try to learn these languages now, and but I guess the pronunciation probably would be the hardest part, learning the verbs and things like that. The memorizing the words and phrases would be easy, but
yeah, trust me, the Spanish is easy. The Russian, you're going to get into some weird consonant combinations.
Well, you have all these languages?
I have them. Well, I'm not fluent.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
No, like you were saying, memorization. Like I said, I wanted to know if you knew any memorization techniques that work with language. Or
yeah, well, like I said, when I get them, I'll let you keep in touch with me with the website. I'll keep, because I'm just getting into the languages myself right now.
Cool.
I would love to. I admire anybody like yourself. Anybody that could get into that kind of. You know that, George, to have several languages. Oh my!
I know it. What
awesome.
A gift!
What a gift.
The magician Chris Angel, we had a little video of him up a couple months ago.
Incredible. He's incredible.
He walks through a window pane.
He's incredible.
How does he do that?
Well, here's how. Let me tell you something. For the longest time, there was a big void in magic. David Copperfield was the king, right? And Doug Henning, bless his soul, he passed away. He was before Copperfield even. And then for a while there was a void. I mean, you had Lance Burton playing in Vegas and stuff like that, but then all of a sudden comes David Blaine. Incredible, dude. Incredible. He brought the word cool back into magic.
Yeah, exactly.
Like. Yeah, that's my kind of stuff. In your face, close up, one-on-one. And then he was out there for a while and doing the stunts and everything else. And now Chris Angel, oh my God, this guy got everything going for him. He got the look, the ladies love him, he got the built body, and now he's doing these major stunts, and he's the king out
Who's
there.
the guy in Vegas too? Danny Gaines?
Yeah, well, he's a hypnotist, I think. Danny Gaines.
Is that what he is? Okay.
Yeah, he does hypnosis, and well, that's kind of hypnosis is cool too.
That is cool. Is there a school of magic for people?
I'm sure there are these various magic shops, probably like Tannins in New York, and I'm sure various magic shops have their little schools and stuff where they teach the younger kids and things like that. And
what about old-time magic tricks that people might want to buy?
I know. Yeah, that's
not the little ones you get in the little toy store, but I mean the real nice ones.
Oh, you got to hit one of these old-time shops in your different cities, like in Boston, you got a cool shop down there, Hank Lee's. In New York, you got Tannins. Every major city has a magic shop, and you could get the junky beginner stuff, or you could get the cool professional old-time stuff like you're looking for. And I can't wait. Every time I go into a city, I can't wait to go to the city to hop into their magic shop.
I'd like to get something that like old Blackstone used to have.
Oh, yeah, Blackstone was the greatest. Harry Blackstone Jr. was incredible. He was all these guys are fantastic. Man, that's why I got into this, George. It's the greatest thing in the world. Like I said, I encourage everybody to at least learn a couple tricks, and you could have so much fun with people. Just seeing the smile on somebody's face is so cool. It's like, kind of like what you're doing. Geez, you got a show here, you and Art. Oh, my God.
I know it. It's
incredible what you're doing with people. It's you're opening up their eyes and their minds, and it's the greatest thing in the world.
And they open up ours, too.
Yeah, I'm telling you. You got an incredible audience. You're a listening audience, and I'm happy to be one of them.
Well, we're glad you're part of the program. Yeah. Wild Card Line, you're on the air with Jim Carroll on Coast to Coast. Hi there.
Hi.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Wayne from Estacada, Oregon.
Hello, Wayne. How are you?
AEX 11. I'm pretty good. How are you doing, friend George?
We are well, thanks.
I just wanted to be part of your show.
Okay.
Part of your learning experience.
Can we?
I was going to ask Jim if my number was 33. What was my card on the second trick?
Well, I'm sorry if
my number was 33. What was my card on the second trick?
Let me ask you a question. Did you have a two of diamonds?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And Ace of Spades on the first one. He's good.
Hey, it's all on the website. Check it out, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm ignorant.
Yeah, this is cool stuff. The coolest hobby in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. You were breaking up right at the end.
What I could do for you, George, is, what I'm going to do? You got such a cool listening crowd. For the Coast to Coast fans, if they go to your website and link on to mine, I'm gonna give like a half a dozen or a dozen people a chance to win like I call it my Mind Whiz package.
What's
where
that?
I have it's an original 50 Ways to Hustle Your Friends book, which does not exist anymore because I come out with a new one called 52 Ways. It's a new and improved version with my new face, the way I look now with the bald head. I look like a wrestler from the WWE.
Okay, yeah.
And plus the cool card tricks kit that the playing card company put out. And let them go to the website, and I'll give some away to.
Great.
To have a contest.
Okay, easy for them to search through it. Okay,
it's easy. The link is right there on the front page. What to do?
Actually, you look like G. Gordon Liddy now.
Oh, jeez.
I'm kidding.
That's all right. That's a compliment, I guess.
I'm kidding. And the website it's pretty user friendly. I was playing around with it today.
The guy that I trained with the magic is also my web designer, so that kind of goes hand in hand.
That helps.
Yeah.
Do you travel a lot, Jim?
Oh yeah, definitely. Back and forth to most of the colleges I do are in the Northeast, and now I started doing colleges all over the country, and I'm back and forth to Los Angeles a lot. So you'll see me out there a lot.
Well, yeah, you got to call on us next time you're out
definitely,
here.
Definitely.
All right, stay with us. We'll be back. We'll take more of your phone calls with our guest, Jim Carroll, right here on Coast to Coast AM. And don't forget, his website is called mindwiz.com. Well, the clock is ticking as we're coming up to the last days where you get the free CD. Father Malachi, Art Bell interview on exorcisms called Perfect Possession. A few more weeks to go, and that is it. Available to you when you subscribe to After Dark, the newsletter magazine, or Renew. Call 1-888-727-5505. Operators are there 24/7. 1-888-727-5505. You can also go online at coasttocoastam.com. And welcome back to Coast. I'm George Norrie with Jim Carroll, our guest, and your phone calls. Let's go to our wild card line. You're on the air with us. Hi there.
Hi, this is Ruby. I'm in Colorado.
Okay, Ruby.
Your guest is a delight. He is such a lovely person. Makes you feel good just listening to him. Now, when I was a little kid, I saw Thurston and Blackstone several times. Now, my question is, can he give us just a clue as to how David Blaine does the levitation?
You got to get David Blaine on to tell you. I'm not going to reveal anything.
Not going to reveal his secret.
Cool,
I watched that on TV, and I just think, now, how's he doing that? And by the way,
cool.
George, I did get Father Martin's tape.
Good.
And I tell everybody, get it before it's gone. It is really interesting.
No, it is a classic.
But your guest, I'm enjoying you so much, sir. I hope you come to Colorado.
I love that. Geez, Colorado, that's my favorite state.
Well, you just come to Colorado because I want to see you. Okay, right. Darling, bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Ruby.
You.
And I'll try to squeeze this out of him somehow.
Yeah.
So,
hey, talking about levitation, you want to hear something ironic?
Yeah.
Again, we're talking about this dreams. Now, listen to this.
Okay.
I had a dream last night that I was going to be on I don't know, I think it was Ellen. I'm going to be on the Ellen show because I was on Ellen already, and I'm trying to get on again. And I dreamed that I was like backstage, and I'm flapping my hands like this real fast, flapping my hands, and I started like levitating off the ground about 1.5 feet. All right. Today I get a call about appearing on the show because all right. And John Zaff is a great friend of mine.
Yeah, he's on next week.
Oh, he is the cool. All your listeners got to listen in when John Zaff is on. He's the greatest guy. He is the coolest ghost guy, demonologist I've ever seen in my life. But to make a long story short, I'm levitating, right? Then I get the call about coming on the show. Now, listen, this is a true story.
All right.
Once again,
I believe you.
I don't lie. All right? The night before I got the call to go on Ellen, I levitated in my dream. The night before I got the show on Leno, I levitated. What is with this levitation?
For some reason, whenever you're levitating, you're going to be on a big show.
Yeah, isn't this weird? That's what I said.
Weird.
Everybody should write down their dreams.
See, now, Rosemary Ellen Guiley, she's our dream interpreter. She lives out in your neck of the woods. She would say that every time you're levitating, it means your career is soaring to new heights.
You know what? That's cool.
Something like that.
Maybe that has some. That's what I'm saying. All your listeners, write your dreams down. And when this lady comes on, there's something to your dreams. I don't know what it is, but maybe we're all going online on the internet, the giant universal internet, when we're sleeping. I don't know what it is, but There's something to it, George.
You've got to tell me what this clock looks like. I love that sound back there. I mean, it sounds like you're in a church cathedral.
I didn't even hear it that time. Oh, it's about, let's see, it's about 8 feet high. I bought it when my dad passed away.
Is it an old clock?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's about...
It's an old grandfather clock.
Yeah. And I bought it for the kids to, like, in memory of their grandfather. And I even have, like, a label on it and stuff. And then it's still working, so...
Remember that? I play a Johnny Cash song every once in a while. My grandfather's clock. And in the song, you probably sang it when you were a kid in school, that the clock stopped, never to go again when the old man died. Well, at least in your case, your clock keeps going.
Well, let me tell you something. I have like a, when I see that thing get to the bottom, I have this like, I don't know, maybe it's I don't know, call it what you want, but I'm not usually superstitious, but I got to keep that clock wound up, almost like that Twilight Zone thing. I got to keep the clock wound up. I don't know, there's something in there. Like it's bad luck if it runs out or something.
91403.
That's out on the West Coast. See, instantly when you say the 9, that puts you out on the West Coast.
That's true.
Yeah. I would say, is that near Sherman Oaks, or is it Sherman Oaks?
It's Sherman Oaks.
Oh, it is Sherman Oaks? Yeah. I know it's in the area.
Where the studio is.
Oh, is that where you're located?
Yep.
Oh, wow. That's
well,
really...
you got that one.
Well, I come out there a lot. I'm going to call you guys next time I come out there. That's definite.
Just don't materialize. Call first.
But, yeah, one thing is... magic is a cool thing. It's all right to give away little tricks and little things like, to get people interested. But some of the stuff that a major celebrity does, like David Blaine, David Copperfield, Chris Angel, I don't like revealing that. Nobody should do that,
But do you know what they're doing?
Well, not really. No.
So even if Ruby wanted the answer, you couldn't give it to her.
I would never say I know. You know what I mean? Because you don't do that to another performer. I hate when magicians are in the audience. I know what he's doing. I know what he's doing. They don't do that. Even if you know, true. You say you don't know. That's how I do it.
It is amazing, though, to watch levitation.
Oh, I love that. David Blaine brought it out, and then now Chris Angel, he just brought it to another dimension. Oh my gosh!
Was Harry Houdini a magician or more of an escape artist?
He was a magician and he was an escape artist, and then he later on in his life he got into the other stuff. But Houdini, oh my gosh, that was. Man, I wish I was around.
Oh my God, one of the best.
Yeah, he brought it. Him and Dunninger and Blackstone, they were the originators, and that's what I studied. And from all the time in my magic shop, when I got laid off from the steel, just kept reading all these books. And now I'm at the point where I don't know if there's a book left. I don't know. I read just about everything I could, and I memorized things really good too. That's what's cool.
Do you believe in the hereafter?
Yeah, I definitely do. Yeah, without a doubt. And I love those shows. When you have that on, I love the alien stuff, UFO. I was in MUFON for a year.
You're kidding me?
Yeah, up in New York here.
Good for you.
But I got so busy I had to because, believe me, when you're traveling in the middle of the night, listening to Coast, you're always like, and especially if it's in the summer, you open up the top of your sunroof and always looking up there, watching for the. Never know what you're going to see.
You know what? On the days I'm outside at night, and I've never seen one, but I do look at the skies all the time.
Boy. I admire the people that see them because I wish I could. I want to see one, and it doesn't. Maybe it happens when I'm sleeping. Who knows? But I've never seen one that I could admit to it.
First time caller line. You're on the air with us. Hi there.
Hi, George.
Yes.
Hey, this is Chris. I'm out in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Mr. Carroll.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Good. I'm 22 years old. I've been performing magic since I was about 10 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
You must be good, Chris.
I love it. Yes, I perform a variety of effects.
That's great.
My question actually is, for the last few years, I've been trying to get my foot in the door, trying to get into restaurants, maybe doing some parties. I was wondering if you have advice on
Definitely.
how I can...
I got a lot of advice. You know what? On my website, the link to George Coast to Coast, email me personally,
okay, and
I'll help you. I'll give you some really good advice how to break into colleges and things. There's an organization to get there's a big convention coming up in Boston in 2 weeks, and it's like 600-700 colleges attend that, And
really?
These kids go crazy over magicians and mentalists and hypnotists. And there's a lot of great magicians performing in the college market. There's a guy named Mike Super. He's really good. There's tons of magicians, and you get to know everybody. It's a giant network, and everybody helps each other too in this business. Everybody helps each other on this level, anyway. You know, when
Well,
you first
I'll definitely do that one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, good luck to you, Chris.
And I got one more question. Also, I practiced my effects all the way to where I can just perform it with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
I still get real nervous when I show people.
Well, hey, you know, that happens. That you're still young yet, but that's hard to believe because you did it since you're so young. That you're still nervous. What do you shake? Do your hands shake?
I'm sorry.
Do you hand?
Yeah, sometimes when I'm performing with cards, I'll get a little shaky, but then I just.
You know what? Email me and give me your phone number. We'll talk. I'll tell you how to get. That's easy to get rid of. Geez, let me tell you something. This is true, George. I was the shyest person in the world. Oh my God! I mean, my wife. My wife was my first girlfriend. I mean, I couldn't even look a girl in the eye. You know, it's like unbelievable. I was the shyest guy in the world, and magic turned my life around completely. I'm like complete opposite. Now I get up in front of groups of 1,000 people and speak. There's no nervousness whatsoever. I mean, hey, to think about it, you're standing backstage and getting ready to get introduced on the Tonight Show.
Or you get those butterflies, don't you?
No, none at all.
No.
Not anymore.
Nothing.
You learn how to get rid of it.
Good for you.
Yeah, so I'll help you.
You do it. You'll help Chris.
Yeah,
Thanks,
anytime,
Chris.
All right.
All right. You know, let me tell you something. What you do for younger people, too, is remarkable. To be able to set some time aside, like you just said.
Oh, no problem.
You know what? I've always been a believer, Jim, what goes around comes around. And
karma, man.
You know what? You know, your success is probably indicative of your attitude. Over and above your ability. Your attitude of other people and helping other people, it shows. And that was a class gesture.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, that's what I'm, like Chris and Mike, the two guys that I'm training. Oh, man, I just, it would be so cool for me to know that they just make it, It's like that.
Good for you.
I had a little effect on their lives, and just like when you perform, just to see the smile on people's faces and people, that's what I'm all about. It's like, what a rewarding job, you know what I mean? You get paid, plus you like doing something, And now I just got involved with fundraising, big-time fundraising. Like there's a website, fundraisers.com out on the West Coast, L.A. area, all right? It's a huge fundraising thing, and I got involved with her. The lady's name is Annie, and what a sweetheart. You talk about nice people. The karma's all over the world, George. You just got to just connect. And
I think you can change the world if you use that karma.
Everybody helps each other. That's what it's about, man. It's magic,
So tell us, how do you levitate then?
No, I can't do that.
All right. Next up, let's go to our wild card line. Welcome to Coast to Coast. You're on the air with us. Hi there.
Mr. Norrie, this is absolutely an awesome and magical radio. It transcends radio. This is incredible. Mr. Carroll, I think I know how you're tapping into this true mind anomaly things, the psychic type abilities. I call them invisibilities.
Yeah.
And I have a theory that we're like on the cusp of a spiritual evolution as mankind, and as we tap into our creativity, it opens our mind to be able to use the abilities that we've innately had, but just haven't ever tapped into. And I was wondering, my computer's down. Is there another way I can contact you to talk more about it?
Yeah, you could. You know what? Off the air, George. I don't care if you.
I'll give him my phone.
I'll tell you what we'll do, Jim. We'll get his number, and I'll have Tom, our producer, give it to you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That is awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, anytime, man.
Thank you, Mr. Carroll.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to put you on hold, Tommy. Get his number and make sure that Jim gets it.
Yep.
In Carroll, is that your real name or is that your stage name now?
No, that's my real name, Carroll, Karol.
That is great. What's your nationality?
Ukrainian.
Do you speak it?
A little bit. My parents, they spoke it all my life, and you'd think I would,
Well, is it different from Russian?
It's a little different, but it's similar.
I mean,
I know how to say the main things.
No is what? Yet, right?
Yeah, I know how to say stuff like "Ya hochu you stay," like I want to eat. The important things in your life. How to count, But what I want to learn now is I want to learn the cards. like 2 a heart, 3 a heart, 5 a heart, jack of diamonds.
You mean in different languages?
In every language.
Oh, that's good.
Then I'll be able to perform card tricks in every country.
That's right.
That's my goal in the next.
Then you can travel.
Yeah, that would be cool.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air with us. Hi there.
Hello.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Hello.
Yep. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, hi. This is David.
Hi, David.
Hi, George. We talked last year, February 14th, on Veterans Night. Spinal cord.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Remember?
Yeah.
Spinal cord regeneration?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's the patent. Anyway, I want to talk to Jim Carroll on this one.
Okay.
The first question. Jim, as a bioengineer, I would say that your MRI would show highly developed frontal lobes, and of course the back of the brain is the memory. What you do is very good with children. You stimulate their brain. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
George?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. 1 to 5, okay? Jim?
Yeah.
1 to 5. What is George Norrie's birthday?
What is his birthday?
Yes, correct. That's right.
What do you mean 1 to 5? What do you mean by that?
Well, that's his birthday. Between 1 to 5.
Oh, you're giving him you're condensing it for him. Okay.
Is that correct, George?
Well, that would be flat out reading a mind. Oh my God! I don't know if I'm capable.
Let me see if I flash you the date. I'm going to send it to your head, Jim. Ready? Because I know you communicate with your friend. Okay, I've sent it to you.
4?
Yep, that's it. June 4th.
Come on.
June 4th. That's my birthday.
Serious?
Yep.
Maybe there's something to this. Now, Dave, you're freaking me out.
You didn't know that in advance? Honest. Be honest.
No. How would I know that?
We'll pull your toenails out if you're not telling us the truth.
Now, Dave's freaking me out here, Dave. Get him off the air.
That's good, David.
Unbelievable. A bioengineer.
George?
Yeah.
Just one thing. I'll send you an email. The examiner said that they can't find anything like it, so it's going to take a few more months for them to put it in their format for the patent. And your promise was to have me on.
That's right.
And
you're the inventor, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That prevents or eliminates paralysis.
Okay. Do you have my email address?
Huh?
Do you have my email address?
Yes, I do, George.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks. We'll get that in. You got the date perfect. It's 4.
Wow. Unbelievable.
See, you communicate with one of your partners, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, that is awesome. That is
with Chris.
Awesome. Yeah. And you know what? And it's because he memorized. We know how to say, hey, if I knew what I knew now when I was 25, okay? You hear that old story? Well, Chris is 25, and he knows what I know now. I taught him. His memory is incredible, and what we do is we communicate. It is so cool. You have to see it in person. Just don't do it just over the phone. Like if I was sitting with you in your studio right now, you could call Chris up on the phone, and he will tell you everything about what you're wearing, your birthday, to name any country. This stuff is so incredible.
Well, what you've got to do the next time you're in Los Angeles, we'll come on in for maybe the first hour.
Oh, definitely.
But bring your toys, bring the cards and everything.
Yeah,
and we'll just really go wild.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of fun. You kidding me? Hey, and you know what? And you know what I'm going to do? I might go out on a limb tonight. And I'm going to give a Super Bowl prediction later on in the show.
Okay. Right. And also, as we approach the top of the hour, when we come back, I promised 900 people who've been emailing me that you were going to talk about poker.
Yeah.
Come on. Is there a strategy or is there a trick behind this?
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Really?
Okay. That's it's my favorite hobby, poker.
This is legitimate ways to play poker now.
Yeah, a lot of fun. How you could improve your game and everything else.
I know my son loves it. This Texas Hold'em, is that what you're talking about?
What a craze! What a craze!
I know it. It is one of the top rated shows on ESPN now.
Yeah, and you have you have the World Series of Poker, then you got the World Poker Tour, which is based out in California.
Yep.
It's incredible the way that took off, and you know what? And I don't see any signs of it ending. And wait till you see the new stuff coming up. That Scott Flansburgh, the genius math guy, came up with something. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to jinx it, but that's something super, super new to the poker world. It's going to shock everybody.
Do you play blackjack in Vegas?
Well, I don't particularly like blackjack. To me, it's boring, but I count. I better watch.
No, watch what you're saying.
I got to watch what I say. Yeah, I like playing Texas Hold'em. That's my favorite game.
Well, here's the other thing. I don't see anything wrong. If a guy's smart enough to mentally count cards in his head, that should be part of your strategy.
I know. I don't see, and counting is easy for me. That comes natural. Oh, my gosh. It's like so easy to do.
All right. Well, that's what we'll do, Jimmy. When we come right back, we'll take more phone calls. We'll talk a little bit about poker, and we'll get some tips on the Super Bowl and find out who's going to win. I believe it's... a lot of people think that Seattle has a shot, but quite frankly, Pittsburgh's pretty tough. I'll be back in a moment. Boy, this night has gone by fast. We've got another hour to go. We'll take your phone calls. We'll chat. We're going to find out a little bit about poker through the eyes of a magician and a guy with an incredible mind, Jim Carroll, on Coast to Coast AM. Jim, you're driving me nuts on your website with that that blue ball. How in the heck do those things work?
I don't even know how half this stuff works.
I mean, it is unbelievable. You play around with numbers, symbols, and it knows what to do.
It's amazing. That's what I'm telling you. Magic is just it brings out the little kids in us. It's incredible. And if you play with it a while, dabble with magic a little bit, one thing leads to another like it did for me, and before you know it, it's like, wow, it's actually an educational tool as well. Who would have thought it, Now I go around, I did a couple high schools locally, like my local high school here where I live. He said this is the true story, there were 23 students failing 2 subjects or more in middle and high school,
right.
8th and 9th grade, right? I said, you know what? I'll do something with them. Give me them an hour for 3 days. Let their parents come in with them. That happened. This is a true story. Get out my magic, a couple magic tricks, got them a little thrill. Like the one kid had like spiked hair and a big trench coat. These are kids that skip class and everything. You know what I mean? And I had these kids eating out of my hand, George. And I start teaching them math stuff. All right. Then the next day I said, look, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you guys, whoever could memorize the presidents of the United States by tomorrow, I'm going to give them my book, 50 Ways to Hustle Your Friends. I swear, every single kid knew the president.
Good for you.
And before that, because it's an easy little thing. Washington, Jefferson, Madison, Harrison, Tyler, I mean, I could do all the presidents. I could do so much. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it because it's bragging. I don't like to brag. But if you see me in person,
oh, go ahead.
I'm telling you, it's fun. But poker,
you'd be a good teacher.
Nah, I don't know.
Yeah, you would, because you reach people. You remind me of that that movie where that guy, of course, he escaped from the nut house. And
that's why I remind you.
But he went into class. He became he accidental substitute teacher, and he acted out history in costume, and the kids loved him. He'd come in one day dressed up like, Colonel Custard. Yeah. And then the next day he'd be someone else and someone else. And
I'm telling you what, it works. I think it works. You reach these kids. Like, I know how to reach, you should see some of the people I reach in some of these colleges. Like, some of the intercity kids that oh my God, I have them eating out of my hand. I reach these people. The magic is such a powerful tool to reach people. It's incredible.
By the way, to those people who think I said nut house derogatorily, no, it was a comedy. I'm talking about the film, not real life, folks.
Like Jim Carrey, not
that kind of thing. Let's take some calls before you teach us about poker. Okay. And then at the end of this hour, you're going to tell us about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm going to go off the limb.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. One of our psychics did that for the NCAA championship, and he was way off. He picked USC, and he was wrong.
Well, I'm going to do a prediction like no one has ever heard.
Okay. To the phones we go. International line. You're on the air with us. Where are you calling from? Hi there.
Cancun, Marlo.
Well, welcome to the show, Marlo. It's all yours.
I can meet you, George. Man, I've been trying to get a hold of you a long time. I was stationed in Albuquerque. I have a comment for your guests also, and a question. And I'd like to give you a comment. Is that all right?
Yep.
Okay. I was stationed in Albuquerque, New Mexico at Sandia Labs, between Sandia Labs and Los Alamos. I don't know if you're familiar with Los Alamos and Sandia Labs. Actually, I was a janitor. I just retired here for about 30 years. And I got the information on UFOs. what's happening is our government makes laser projections from a satellite. It makes laser projections of UFOs. And what they want to do is use the same concept as when you're in the Army during boot camp. And first you have like your different races that come into boot camp, Mexicans, whites, and blacks. And, nobody can get along until who comes out, the drill sergeant. They're trying to get the New World Order into effect. And they're going to use the same concept as making us think that we're going to have UFOs attack our planet. And then we're going to fight them off, and there's going to be holograms. So there's no such thing as a UFO. It's our government making laser projections of UFOs to make us think that we're going to be attacked by aliens from outer space.
All right, gotcha.
Interesting.
Gotcha. It is interesting.
Yeah.
Fascinating. By the way, it's General Custer. I was thinking of Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
How about that?
Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
And General Custer.
Yeah.
Jim Carroll?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, I'm doing a magic act out here in Cancun, and I lost contact in New York City. I bought these about maybe 15 years ago. I bought maybe a couple of dozens of these bird whistles that they have in magic stores. Could you direct me to a magic store there in New York City that might have them?
Probably I would check Tannen's. That's the biggest shop in the city. Tannen's Magic Shop.
Tannen's.
Can you spell that, please?
Tannen's. How do you spell that?
Tannens. It's across the street from the Empire State Building on 34th Street.
Where somebody just jumped from today, by the way.
No.
Yep.
Are you serious?
Kid went up there, 21-year-old kid. He got up to the 66th floor of the 102 floors, and he jumped.
My gosh.
I mean, unbelievable.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I wouldn't kid about that. And,
unbelievable.
Yep. Tannen's for this, huh? They sell great old things, too?
Oh, they sell everything, George. That's the shop. Oh, boy, that's the shop that I went to when I was a little kid. And I remember this street magician that used to perform outside of it named Cellini. Cellini was incredible, man. He did things with his hands with these cups and, oh, my God, the guy he turned me on to magic. And then he let me do my trap, my little trap at the time. It wasn't the big bear trap, on the street for all the people. And everybody's like clapping and stuff. I'm like, oh, my gosh, this is great.
What were the bird whistles he was interested in? What are they?
Oh, they got all kind of stuff like that.
Are they tricks?
There are like hundreds of thousands of magic things out there. There's so many different things.
What's your favorite magic trick?
Oh, my God.
Whether you see it or whether you've done it.
My favorite one is the one I did on Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen, where I could tell somebody over the phone, over a speakerphone. Like if I was in your studio right now with you,
all right,
we could slam a deck of cards on your desk. You could hold them and keep your hand on them. You can call anybody your little heart desires on this planet.
And they'd guess the card?
And I will guess the card they name. That is the coolest trick in the world, in my opinion.
Well, now let me ask you something.
That's the trick.
What if I had an imaginary deck of cards?
Yeah.
Could you? And I was very honest.
I'd have to be with you. I'd have to be with you, George, to sit to look in your eyes. That's that. I'm serious about that. But that's the trick. Like if your guests, I mean your fans, they could see that trick on the Ellen show. I did it on Ellen to her brother, and that's the trick I did to Rosie O'Donnell to her sister, I think it was.
You look at the eyes,
or her
though.
friend. It's cool. You got to see it. That's my favorite card trick.
That's why so many guys wear sunglasses playing poker.
Oh, man, some of these guys, you wouldn't believe how they dress. Oh my God,
it's an event.
It's a craze right now. It's becoming it's a craze amongst celebrities too, and it's a fun game. It's a fun game. The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. There's nothing like seeing that big winning hand coming when you take three people all in and you win. All right, and then the worst thing, George, is when you go all in and you have to push your chair in and walk away from the table and you're out of the tournament.
And you're out. But I would go all in with nothing just to trick people.
I love that game. I love the game. I never made it to a final table with these guys yet, but I hope to get there.
You'll get close.
I just started playing a couple of months ago. I played all my life, but I just started playing, with the big guys. And a lot of good guys
have you been highlighted? Let's say on ESPN or anything?
No, Scott just was. Scott Flansburgh was just highlighted on ESPN. He went into the World Series of Poker. But I just began, and I see because I'm traveling all the time, entertaining, and to get into these tournaments, you got to sometimes be off 3-4 days, maybe even a week. And
and you don't get paid unless you win, right?
No, you don't get nothing. You got to get most of the time. You got to it depends how many people are in the tournament. Like if there are several hundred, and then you might get some money in the top 30 or 40 or whatever. I don't know how they divvy it up. But the World Series of Poker, what was it? Over 6,000 people entered.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
And getting bigger.
That's like playing a lottery.
Yep. Let's go to our wild card line. You're on the air with us. Hi there.
Hi, this is Tom. I'm calling from Nebraska. I just have a quick question.
Sure thing, Tom. Go ahead.
Well, I've throughout my life been able to call cards pretty well. Out of a deck of 52, cut the cards, and I'll be able to tell you the card that you're cutting.
Wow.
But my
great.
question is, how do I develop that further into something other than cards, or something a little bit better than?
How accurate are you, Tom? How are you pretty?
I could say probably about 80%.
Wow. That's incredible. I'd like to meet this guy. That's incredible.
Maybe you could teach us something.
Wow, that is incredible, Tom. That's a good gift.
For an instance, when you started talking about cards earlier in the show, the first thing that I saw in my mind was a 2 of clubs, and then you mentioned to George, for instance, you're thinking of a 2, and let's say it's a club. Things like that, I see a picture in my mind, and usually, about 80% of the time, it's there.
Wow. How old are you?
I'm 25.
You're a kid yet. God, you should pursue this. And you should get checked to see that they got like Duke University. They have these studies on ESP and boy, if you could guess that many, if you're that accurate, my God, you should get into this. This is
I never realized an accuracy until I was a bellman working graveyard, and me and the other guy that I worked with, we had a deck of cards. We were just messing around, seeing who could guess more cards, and I'm incredibly good at cards, but it's only been cards.
Well, hey, that's a start. It's a start. Like I said, think about it. You're 25, man. I didn't start this career until I was in my early 30s, and I didn't get into this weird stuff until recently, like the last few years. And you're 25 and you're doing it. God, there's a career for you out here. Check out my website. Contact me by email. We'll talk anytime. Oh, my God, I'd love to see somebody like you get launched into something
Is your son, Jim, the little guy, is he going to end up being a magician?
No, I think he's going to be a rock star.
Really?
He plays the guitar, and
how old is he now?
Well, now he just turned 16.
Okay, 10 years jumped on that story. Okay,
15, all 15 and 16-year-olds, and they're making CDs up there now and everything. Oh my God, they're getting good. He's like never had a lesson.
Hey, I'll tell you what I'll do for you. Okay,
all right.
When he's done with a CD that you like, you get it to us. And we'll play it on our 500 radio station affiliate network.
Oh, my God, I should do that.
Do it like a little bumper song or something.
I'll do that. I'm telling you, they got something going here. I mean, like, first about 6 or 7 months ago, hey, wow, it sounds like Black Sabbath. It sounds like Led Zeppelin, And they're creative. They do their own music, their own words.
Well, can you give me like a Frank Sinatra type song or something?
I don't know if they're into that.
Let's go next to our east of the Rockies line. You're on Coast to Coast. Hi there.
Hi, George.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask Jim if he'd ever studied runic magic.
Runic?
Which is a real magic.
Yeah, I know people that did, like the Necronomicon book. Yeah, I kind of steered away from it. I don't know why, because the people that were doing it at the time, they seemed kind of goofy. I don't know. I was afraid of them.
They used it for divination also.
Yeah. I believe. Look, I just never really studied up on it, but I know people that do, and they're pretty unique people, to say the least. That's the real magic. Yeah, that's the real deal.
Do you believe in real magic?
Do I believe in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell everybody something, George. I'm a skeptic, all right? But I have a very open mind, all right? Until I believe that anything is possible. Anything you can conceive in your mind is possible. There are a lot of skeptics out here that just close themselves off, And I admire some of the guys that are but I believe that everything is possible. I believe anything can happen. Anything.
Well,
what do we know?
We're supposed to say, mind is the builder.
That's right, and it's I think anything is possible. I'd be a fool to say no, that's impossible. I'm a skeptic to everything. That's foolish. That's a foolish statement. You never know what's out here, man. It's a big universe, man. We're just a little piece of dust.
Yep.
Who the hell knows? Who the heck knows?
Dust in the wind. Yeah,
that's right. So
I wanted to say something about bumper music you had earlier, too. Doctor Who. I recognized it.
You got it, huh?
Yep. I used to love to watch Doctor Who, but they don't make new ones anymore.
No, they don't. Nope. As a matter of fact,
did.
they've lost some of the episodes. They can't find them.
I'd like to see them make it new. I've had an idea. I'd love to be like I've had an idea for Doctor Who, too.
Doctor Who, too. I like, hey, thanks for the call. All right, take a couple minutes. Tell us about poker. What can we learn here from you, Jim?
Okay. I think, well, first of all, obviously, the best thing to do is to go to your local bookstore and get a book. You know, Doyle Bruns, anybody. I don't want to mention names because there are a lot of good people out there. Just about any book you grab will help you, all right? Then you could go online and just type in Texas Hold'em odds, okay? Study the odds, all right? And then my big thing is having a good memory. It comes in handy to first of all, having a good memory doesn't help you with Texas Hold'em. Believe me. I mean, other than remembering odds and it doesn't give you an advantage. All right, it does in blackjack and other games, but not in Texas Hold'em. But what I do is I have what I call the Sweet 16. Okay, what the Sweet 16 is to me is when I get dealt my 2 cards down before any other cards are dealt. The Sweet 16 are the 16 best 2 cards that you can get. And that's like ace, ace, king, king, queen, queen, jack, jack. What do you think the 5th one is, George?
Jack, jack, 10, 10?
No, it's actually ace, king suited. And then 10, 10, then ace, queen suited, then ace, jack suited, then ace, king offsuit, then king, queen suited. See, and I have all these memorized in my head.
That's valuable.
Well, it is, because it does. Let me tell you something. No matter how good you are and how much you know about that game, it doesn't. You can still lose to the normal guy that doesn't know anything.
He just stumbles his way into victory.
I know. It's amazing. Like I had ace, ace. I have an ace and an ace, and we have
all in.
The guy takes me all in, and I know he's bluffing. You know, I read this guy like a book. You could see he's lying. He's a young guy, and he was lying. You know? But I thought, I'm going to go all in anyway. And he turns over his card. He has a king and a 3. The flop comes up. The first 3 cards that come up, a pair of 3s in there. So now he has 3 3s and he beats me.
He's already got you.
What are you going to do? No matter how much you read the people, no matter how much you know, that's what's cool about the game. You can always
would you
beat a pro.
Would you stay in? Let's say they gave you a 6 and a 9. Would you stay in? Those are your first 2 cards.
It depends where I'm at on the button. It depends where I'm sitting. Like if everybody else drops and if I have the most money and everybody drops and just the one guy in front of me stays in, I might hang out. But if I'm the first guy betting and everybody's in the game, there's no way.
What do you do if everyone drops and they come to you and you're the only one left and you haven't made a decision yet? Do you automatically win?
Well, obviously, yeah.
You do. I mean, they don't just keep going around giving people a second shot?
No. Didn't you play this game? This is a cool game.
Yeah, I play a little bit.
Oh, it's the coolest game in the world. It is the coolest game. I love this game.
I'm too busy doing coast to coast, Jim.
Well, yeah, just like me. I'm too busy doing shows, and now I got a love for this game, and I can't. I'm hooked on it.
Okay, what's a little deal now for the Coast listeners if they go to mindwiz.com?
Yeah, mindwiz.com. You know, I'll put this up here, some of these things. I'll put these odds up and some of the things they could look at. This my Sweet 16 thing, I call it, and stuff like that. And I'll have Chris put up some good books they could look at in the bookstore, some of the best out there that I've looked at.
I bet we cooked your website today. I bet we cooked the server. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I bet you've gotten thousands of hits, and
cool.
It's going to take a magician to get that opened up again.
Well, Chris is a magician, so I hope he can handle it.
All right, stay with us. Final half hour to go. Thanks, Chris. You are a great webmaster, and Jim Carroll is our guest. We're going to be back with him in a moment. And final phone calls now. I'm George Norrie. This is Coast to Coast AM. For you Doctor Who fans, the BBC has a new series, and they think it's going to be released here in the United States soon on DVD. You can check it out if you want by going to bbc.co.uk/Doctor Who. If you're interested in that, and if you remember that website, you can join Jim Carroll on tour with his magic show. We'll be back in a moment. Our next program, by the way, will be our Friday into Saturday morning open line, so get ready for that. Anything goes. We will have a live visit, though, from Dr. Morgus, who's down there in Louisiana, and he is well. Back in a moment. And let's go back to final calls now with our guest, Jim Carroll. How you holding up here, Jim? This is a long show, isn't it?
Yeah, Chris just called me, actually, and he had to expand the bandwidth.
I told you.
Yeah, he's getting tons and tons of emails. But he said he challenges your listeners. There's no way that you'll crash it because he kept.
Oh, don't do that! Don't do that.
That's what he told me to say because he expanded it. He just expanded it really big time.
All right.
Nobody will crash this one.
All right, go for it. Everybody hit him. Everybody hit the website, mindwiz.com. If you're on coasttocoastam.com now, there's a direct link. If you want to just go directly, it's mindwiz.com. I'll show you, Jim.
Uh-oh. Hey, George, just a quick hustle for you. You have a dollar bill on you?
Yeah, hold on.
You're going to love this. And your listeners will.
I'm not too proud to say that it may be all I have on me.
Now being a supposed mind reader.
Okay, got it.
Okay?
Yep.
I'll bet you that dollar I can tell you the date.
What do you mean you can tell me the date?
Yeah, the date's February 3rd. All right.
Oh,
that's just a quickie. What the heck, Hey, but why have the dollar out? I'm going to show you something really cool.
All right.
I'm going to give you 15 seconds. I'll bet you that dollar that you can't find the date 1776 on it.
And I will mail it to you if I'm wrong.
In fact, all your listeners, if they get a dollar bill out, I guarantee you none of them will find the date 1776, yet it's on there every bill.
What do you mean it's on here?
Most people never find it because it's written in Roman numerals on the base of the pyramid on the back of the bill. There's a good hustle for you.
Really?
A quick dollar bill bet for everybody. The date 1776 is in Roman numerals on the base of the pyramid on the back of the bill.
First of all, I can barely see the base of the pyramid.
No, that's why you can win the bet all the time. Nobody's ever going to find it. And even if they do, they're not going to see 1776.
All right. I'll tell you what. I'll give it to you when I see you in L.A. Deal?
Anyway, there's a good one for you.
That is pretty good. All right. I remember I was in New Orleans for the Navy a long time ago, and a kid came up to me and he said, I'll bet you $5 I know where you got those shoes. And I'm saying to myself, there's no way this kid knows where I got these shoes. I can't even remember where I got them. And I said, sure. He says, well, you let your buddies hold the $5. And he gave one of my buddies $5 to hold. So there's $10 there. And he says, all right, I'm going to tell you where you got your shoes. And I said, all right. He said, you ready? I says, yep. He says, you give me the money if I'm right? And I said, yes, I will. And he says, okay, you got them on your feet on Bourbon Street. He won. He won.
Oh, God. He must have... Jeez.
First time.
I got to get you one of my books too. I'm gonna send you one.
All right. First time caller line. You're on the air with Jim Carroll. Hi there.
Hey George, thanks for taking my call.
Sure thing.
First, I want to thank you and Art for putting on such a great show throughout the years. I listened from a unique perspective because I worked up in the middle of nowhere, Nevada, for about 8 years in the area you guys talk about. So it's interesting as I listen.
Hits home sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and my son lived in Pahrump, so listen to you guys all the time. Anyhow, my next question is, my main reason I called is Jim. Thank you very much for staying up for us.
Oh, this is great. I'm having a good time. Like I said, I'm a fan and a listener, and I get to be a big part of the show today. That's cool. I like that.
That is so cool. And usually I just listen to this show and I think back to the like my working for the Air Force and everything, and it's just interesting to listen to. But tonight I felt compelled to call because I'm like, this guy is like describing me, not the guy that can remember everything. But when you talked about, like, your college doing kind of blasé in college,
yeah,
and you don't know how this stuff happened, but you had a thing for numbers.
Yeah,
I work for an engineering company, and I barely get by because for lack of a better term, I can't remember crap.
Wow.
But my friends at work call me like they joke. When we do number things, they call me like Rain Man.
Wow.
And
as long as you don't have pancakes on Tuesday.
And well, you know what? I missed most of the show because number one, I couldn't keep my wife up with the radio, and I went to the computer, and I'm one of those guys that made you increase your bandwidth tonight. And I emailed you because I'm interested in. I think I missed the few examples that you were showing for memory techniques.
Right.
But when you talked about that you started with a basic memory technique and it just kind of expanded from there?
Yeah, one thing leads to another, and before you know it, 100 becomes 1,000, becomes 10,000, and it's incredible what your mind is capable of. See, your mind, how it works is, I don't have a PhD in psychology. I wish I could bump into a psychologist that could tell me how this works, because then I'd write a good book about that yet. But the thing is, I'd be anybody's experimental case if they want to come aboard, George. You know what I mean? Boy,
That's right.
But here's what I think. Your short-term memory. How many digits are in a phone number? 7.
Right.
Plus the area code, right? That's what your memory is capable of, holding like 7 to 10 digits, your short-term memory. But your long-term memory, I don't care what anybody tells you, it's unlimited. Unlimited. I'm proof of that. If you knew, and I didn't even tell anybody what I have memorized because I don't want to talk about it. I can't even imagine that your mind can hold all this information. It's just incredible.
So back when you were in college, and you said you kind of did, halfway with grades and stuff like that.
First thing I took up was liberal arts, and then I didn't do well. So I changed my course to criminal justice, and I tried that, and I didn't do that well either. But, I spent most of my time skipping classes and playing cards and doing math,
Now, did you remember well back then, and then it just improved, or did you have a challenge back then?
No, I didn't. I don't think I applied myself. I don't know. I didn't know anything. Like I told you, I couldn't even. I'll bet you I couldn't even learn 5. I couldn't even keep 5 periodic table of elements memorized. Now I could rattle them off like they're nothing.
That's another thing I related to is just now that I'm an adult, being able to grasp some things, but memory, unfortunately, is not one of them. So do you think you could post a couple of those techniques on your site?
I definitely have Chris do that, because we're coming up with a lot of stuff now. We're really pursuing the memory aspect of this, because I want to help kids and everybody, people. Hey, who knows? Maybe this even could help. Well, I don't want to say it, but it might keep off the onset of Alzheimer's or something. Who knows what it does by exercising your mind. Yeah, I'm 52 years old. And I know more now than, oh, my God. It's just incredible what you can learn. But I do it with an exercise bike. I ride an exercise bike, and then it's like, I don't know, maybe your blood flows faster in your
absolutely,
brain.
sure.
I don't know what it is.
Energized. How long have you been at this then?
Only about 2 years.
That's it?
In 2 years, I memorized all of this stuff. And it's just like if I would have not been on the phone tonight with you, I would have been sitting here listening to your show and looking at flashcards, trying to learn more new stuff.
Professionally, now I know you told us a great story about your wife.
Yeah.
But professionally, what are you the most proud of for yourself?
Me?
Yeah.
My family, my kids.
But in what you do.
In what I do?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess like I said, I think just to see.
Look how far you've come.
I like seeing people smile and people happy, and like if I do a show and if I see one person don't like my show, it bothers me.
You know what? 1,000 could love it.
Yeah.
One could hate it.
And
that's
why?
the one you want to key in on.
I know. You want to key in and hey, you want to try to win them over too.
It's you want them all.
I don't know. It's just that's what I like. I like when people. I like the smile when people say like the look of amazement, like, oh my God. See, and I don't really go out for the impress. I don't try to impress people. I try to make them laugh. I try to make them have a good time, and that's what I'm into. I think the laugh is more important than the fact that you're impressing somebody that you read minds or whatever. I never even say that. I never would tell anybody I read minds. I don't say that. Let them perceive what I do. Do I read minds? Is it a magic trick? And
Well,
but that's great. I'm glad that you're like that. The fact of it, the numbers later in life. Hey, it's better late than never.
You got it. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with us. Hi there.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. We're doing fine, thanks.
I have 2 things. The first one's a question. The second one's a really interesting story about dreams.
Sure.
Well, I'm 19 years old, and I've been fascinated with magic my whole life. I was wondering what advice Jim had to kind of get into it and learn those cool tricks. And
I help anybody. I love young guys, helping these young kids. Cause I'm telling you, like my buddy Chris and stuff. It's just to see you guys are at that age interested in this instead of out there getting yourself in trouble somewhere. You know, I mean, that's what I'm all about. You know, this is incredible. So many young people into this. That's incredible. Anytime you just check my website out, you email Chris and myself, and we'll guide you the right way. We'll help you out. I love hearing that. I love hearing young kids wanting to get into this.
Great. And what's your dream story?
Yeah, I want to hear this because I'm into dreams.
Well, my mom swears my dad's an alien. This happened before I was born. They're sleeping, and my mom said she had this dream where she seen my dad, like his soul, leave his body and float out the window. So she followed him without him knowing. And then she said she was hiding behind this rock in a desert atmosphere, and he was talking to these beings. She couldn't explain what they look like. She just said they're beings. They're just there, you know. And she woke up. And in the morning, my dad woke up. He said, I had this crazy dream where I floated out the window, and I went into this desert, and I was talking to these people, these beings. And she had the same dream, but from a different perspective. They both swear it happened.
Wow.
So what do you think? You think Dad's an alien?
I have no clue.
I mean, does he act okay?
Yeah, he's a normal guy, and whenever my mom brings that up, he kind of just ignores her. And
he goes, nanu, or something like that.
Well, that's cool, though. Wow.
That is it. Okay, thanks, and email Jim, and he'll take care of you. Appreciate it. Next up, Wildcard Line, you're on the air with us. Hi there.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm really enjoying the program.
Thank you.
Jim.
Hi.
For many, many years now, I have been wondering if this person who did a magic trick for me was really doing magic, or was it something metaphysical or something. Let me tell you what he did, okay?
Yeah.
Well, he had this deck of cards. He was a friend of mine, not somebody just passing down the street, but he was a friend of mine. And he had this deck of cards, and he opened it up like a fan, in front of me with the numbers towards me.
Yeah.
And he said, pick a card, any card, and just keep it in your mind and don't tell me what it is. Then he closed the deck up. He handed me the deck of cards, and he said to shuffle them. I shuffled them, and he said, now hold them between your index finger and your thumb, and just hold them as tight as you can. And when I hit these cards, you're going to be holding the card that you picked in your mind. And he did it.
And when you hit all the cards fall on the floor except for the one. That's cool. That's a cool magic. That's a magic trick. That's not metaphysical, but that's a cool trick, though.
There's a trick to that.
Oh yeah, I can't tell you how it's done though.
I've been wondering for like 20 years. Cool. It was like 20 years ago, and it's like.
What, did he try to pick you up with it?
No, he already had.
All right. That's another thing magic is useful for the single people out there. It really works.
Yeah, it wasn't the magic that got me about him, but it was just one of those things that came up when I was with him, around him, and I just can't figure out how somebody.
Well, that's what's fun. As long as you thought it was metaphysical all these years, hey, that's what it's all all
Well, I want to ask a real magic person like you, so that I don't go, oh, okay. There's something behind it. And after he did all this stuff like, oh, I'm so out of breath. Oh, it took all the energy out of me.
That's great. He was great then. That's how you have to do it. You have to. The showmanship is so important.
Uh-huh.
He pulled it off. It worked.
Wow. Okay, so it was a trick.
You got it. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate it. 50 Ways to Hustle Your Friends. Are your books out there now? Now, you were saying this one's out of print.
Well, the new one is being printed as we speak. It should be out shortly. 52 Ways. It's a revised edition of it. Plus, the 50 Ways to Hustle Your Friends is my old picture with my long hair. Now I shave my head. I'm going bald. 52.
So yeah, you changed a little bit.
Yeah, so I got to put the new picture up, and so it'll be 52 Ways to Hustle Your Friends, and that'll be out very, very, very shortly.
East of the Rockies. You're on the air with Jim Carroll. Hi there.
Hi, this is Adam calling from Peoria, Illinois.
Hi, Adam.
I had a real quick story that's going to hit on a couple of topics you've been on tonight.
Sure.
My grandfather passed away last week, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And he had a couple of hobbies in his retirement years, and oddly enough, one of his hobbies was antique clock repair. So I thought it was kind of interesting that you were commenting about his grandfather clock going off in the background, and then talking about the Johnny Cash songs. I'm also a big Johnny Cash fan as well. But the main story I wanted to tell was my grandfather's other hobby was CB radio. And one of the gentlemen that he talked to a lot on the CB, his handle was Mr. Magic.
Wow.
And when I was about 12 years old, my mom had taken me to our local magic shop here and had happened to notice a magician's encyclopedia set that had been sitting on the shelf behind her. And she had happened to notice the name of the author of this set of encyclopedias. And she knew Mr. Magic's real name, and she said that that was the guy that my grandfather had talked to on the CB radio.
How about that for synchronicity?
Wow. Yeah, and I was just wondering if your guest possibly would know his real name.
Mr. Magic.
Mr. Magic?
I'm sure a lot of guys have written books about magic, but I was guessing not very many had written an entire encyclopedia.
Oh, there were a couple. There were a couple written. A couple. There's like a bunch of them. That could be anybody. Wow. Do you know what his name is?
No, I don't know the real name.
Do you know the name of the book?
No, like I said, it was an entire encyclopedia of books. It must have been 12
There's
books.
a lot
easy.
of stuff. If I'd hear it, I'd probably know it. Yeah, I can't. Geez, sorry, I can't help you. Boy, we did really touch on him today. Everything. Wow, between the clock and the man. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was really something.
That's incredible. That's
some interesting synchronicity there.
Would his name be John Clute? John Grant?
I don't believe so.
John Grant. Yeah, he's one. But there's one called Tarbell's encyclopedias. There's so many of them. Oh my gosh, it could be anybody.
I didn't realize there was that many magic encyclopedias.
Oh my gosh, there are like so many magic books out here. So many magic encyclopedias, Encyclopedia Robotrix, this kind of encyclopedia, that kind. Oh my.
John Bannon?
I'm really not sure. Like I said, when he was talking to my grandfather, I was pretty young back in those days. So.
Wow, that is probably an old timer too. It's probably somebody from years and years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Was the book like from the 30s or 40s or something?
I would love a book like that.
Oh my!
I would imagine it was a little newer than that. Like I said, my grandfather just passed away at 88, so I'm thinking that the gentleman was the same age as him, and I believe he actually preceded him in death. So
wow,
he was a fairly old timer.
Wow.
It seems like the guy who owned the magic store had said that he recognized the name of the guy who wrote the book and said that at one time he had won the whatever it is Magicians Alliance Award. The best magician of the year, and had been given the key to the magic castle and the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, if you have it, I'd like to hear who that is.
Open up an old book like that, Jim. It will pull you right in.
The best. Let me tell you something. There's nothing new in magic. Some of those older books are the best books out there. It's incredible.
Now, how fitting for the clock to go off at the end of the show.
You want the prediction?
Yeah.
Super Bowl?
Yep.
Super Bowl 40. For the very, very first time ever, it's going into overtime.
That's the prediction.
Overtime. First Super Bowl ever. And I don't like picking teams, but I have a feeling Bettis is playing in Detroit, his hometown. I got to give the edge to Pittsburgh, plus since I'm a Steelworker.
In overtime.
You
got it. Jim Carroll, thank you so much. Keep in touch, my friend.
Good night, George. Thanks for everything.
For Steve Carr, Dan Galante, Tom Danheiser, Lisa Lyon, Lex Lonehood, Sean Ladesseur, Ian Punnett, and Art Bell, I'm George Norrie, somewhere out there on Coast to Coast AM. I'll see you on our next edition. Until then, be safe.